Look, mate, all I'm saying is that there's a Ricardo stand, there's a Weber stand. I just want to know where the Aussie Villain stand is. There isn't one. But there is an Aussie Villain way. Well, of course I want to see it. Hilarious. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome to the Australian Grand Prix here at Aussie Villain Racing in Season 1 of our My Team Career Mode. And well, as I said today, it is the Australian Grand Prix. It's my home race. And let's see what we can do now. We have a 2-week break since the last race in Brazil where we, thanks to taking... Ocon helped us get a point, let's be honest. We kind of wasn't our proudest moment. But what do we want to do here in this time? We can do some more training for Schwartzman. Attend an esports event, which will help me. A second driver PR filming. Now, that's a fair bit of cash and some driver acclaim points as well. We've got a sponsor conference. That's going to help team acclaim and some aero team building. Now, I don't think the department's morale is not too bad. Let's do an esport event. Let's do this driver PR. And that is then leaving us with a sponsor event conference. Let's do that. So that's what we're going to do in between races. Facilities, we have 3.5 million. Yeah, what do we want? Do we want to just save it in case? All right, well, let's spend some of it. That leaves us 2.9. I want to have a little bit in the bank just to make sure we have enough because we're going to have to re-sign Schwartzman. That's going to be at least $1.5 million, I should say, sorry. So we want to make sure we have at least $1.5 million in the bank. Now, we still have, of course, some parts to adapt for next season's regulation changes. So that's all we're going to be doing now. There'll be no more upgrades on the car for this year. Our heated wheel rims are available, so they will be on the car for this one. The last of our upgrades for this coming season. The R&D progress. Now, we should have another minor part on the car before this race, that being the front wing adjuster bracket. And then we've got the major upgrade to come towards before the end of the season. Hopefully that's something that's going to carry through for us and we're not going to end up losing it. So Alpine and AlphaTauri have taken they've gone up above us, and it looks like we're still sort of neck and neck with Alfa Romeo after the last race. The vehicle stuff, now you can see I did go through here already, and we've changed the parts that we need to change for this race. ICE, what was the one that went last race? It was wearing out anyway. So anyway, that's what we've done there. Gearbox, we've got a nice fresh one. That'll get us through to the end of the season. Fingers crossed without any problems. That's the tire allocation, but that is neither here. I don't know, can you change that? I don't think you can change it. But anyway, the corporate side of things. Now we do have both our sponsors up for negotiation. So let me have a look at this. Okay, so I've had a look through. I think the best ones we can do in terms of getting money into the team is we've got to keep going with the 4 interview questions. That's good money, consider for what it is. And then I think the second one we're going to need to do here is just the one below, is achieve a top 12 finish during the race. We do that or thereabouts. Maybe it's a little bit of extra motivation. I don't think going for the rivals anymore is going to work because Stroll is in a better car than us, and probably a better driver, to be fair, as well. So let's go for a top 12 finish. That should challenge us with it, but still be achievable. So that's what we'll do there. Contracts, it's still 1.5 million. Now, I don't think I can renew him now. I have to wait till the end of the season. There's the finances, the facility upgrades that we've just put in, the 1.5 million, the financial history we can see there. And as a reminder of the standings, we're currently 13th. Unfortunately for us, the Alpines and the AlphaTauris have really taken a step forward that we failed to take when we had those 2 major upgrades that didn't come through. That really did hurt us, didn't it? So that is how we're looking there. The rivalry with Lance Stroll could be better, to be honest, but as I say, I fully expect to lose that rivalry to him. He is just in a better car than we are. So that is everything caught up with back at the factory. Let's go ahead now and see what happens coming into this Australian Grand Prix weekend. Hopefully, there's not going to be any major issues. There is our resource points.
We've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
So they've got the next parts. We've got an event here the department has requested. Okay, so we've got a magazine wants to do a piece on Schwartzman, focusing on an F1 driver's training regime, the daily fitness routines, that kind of thing. A bit of a publicity would be good for them, but obviously the time spent doing this takes time away from Schwartzman's obviously ability to to do what he needs to do. So he would get 1,000 acclaim, which would be useful, but his experience would go down 7. I'm going to say, at this point, I don't know what acclaim is going to do for him, with just my ignorance. Let's decline that. There's nothing really in it for the team. It's more down for Schwartzman, and yeah, we'll let him focus on his driving and not running into the back of me. Now let's go back. We will continue to sim ahead, and it should take us through to the Australian Grand Prix. Let's go to Melbourne. So our messages ahead of the race weekend, we can see there, you can see the map track as well if you're not familiar with it. I don't think, or is that with the changes? Maybe that is with the, I can't tell. Anyway, in real life, the track has supposedly changed. We can see all the new parts. Now, I think some of that is got 15 more parts. So we've got a potentially wet, would you say? I mean, overcast. It could rain. Weather forecast. I'm not really sure what all those parts are, but anyway, they're on the car. The main one is the wheel rims, of course. Easy for you to say. All right, let's go and do. I'll go and do free practice, and I'll see you for qualifying 1. Okay, free practice is done. We're in the Aussie Villain zone. We're sort of 13th, 14th, 15th in that area. So you'd like to think we're going to get through qualifying 1. Let's go find out, see how we can go here. Okay, so here we come to start our first lap. Now, Nicholas Latifi is already out of the session, which is, I'm assuming, that caution in front. Now, because you can see it's kind of overcast and not looking the best, I'm not going to do like I did in Brazil and do the sort of banker lap on the mediums. Just in case it does rain, we're going to get straight out there and see what we can do. A little bit deep there, perhaps. The best lap I managed in free practice was a 22.9, as sort of an idea of what is a decent lap. And that's not the way you take that corner. That's... Ooh, getting close to the wall there. Now, this next corner, I've been losing a lot of time. I've been playing around with the setup, trying to... I've mucked it up again. I cannot seem to find a way. I was a little bit late on turning there. Verstappen's out of the session, but he had already set a time. So that maybe doesn't help us too much. Bit of a shortcut there. But of course, that does mean if we can get out of this session, already we'd be another further spot up the grid. But we'll need to do better than this lap. I have no doubt about that. That's going to be a 22, a 23.7. That is not good enough. Alright, this is actually our 4th attempt of Q1. We've got the last set of new tyres on. I've had 2 spins previously. If these cars can... Let's get out of the way there, please, Sergio. Oh, that's really, really hurt us. Already 3 tenths down, 4 tenths down.
And we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap, or that's qualifying over for us.
I'm going to abort this. We're too far behind already. Alright. This is it. This is our last chance. We've got a Williams behind us, but hopefully they should stay there. Cannot believe what Sergio Perez did to us on that first attempt. Oh, I didn't take that very well, but we're still about half a second up. That's better. That's better. That's going to gain us time. Well, not quite as good at exit as we got through there last time, but still we're about half a second up. This is tense. Well, it took me a while, but eventually we got there. So in the end, we get P14 in Q1. We've used up all our new tyres, which isn't ideal. But I guess it is what it is. If we go down, Stroll is still there. He's, of course, our on-track rival. Schwartzman doesn't get through. We know that Latifi was out. Now, we also know that Verstappen... Oh, he's gone out as well. No, he's 16th, gets through, does it not? Or is it 15th? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Verstappen's out either way. But we've got through. Let's go to Q2. Not a great start to Q2, an electrical fault. We're going to be missed the first 2.5 minutes. We probably were only going to do one run anyway because we're out of fresh tyres, so it doesn't affect us too badly. Alright, so our first and most likely only run of Q2. Let's see what we can do here. It's decent enough. It felt decent enough. Good exit out of there, not too bad. A little bit of inside curve, which isn't ideal. Bit squirrely on the exit there, but I don't think we lost too much time doing that. That was as well as I've taken that. That felt really good on the exit. Now, let's see if we can take my trouble corner. Take the bollard with us, that's fine. On the exit, no, that's us done.
Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
So, not the qualifying I was hoping for the home race, that's for sure. I've really struggled with that corner the whole time, trying to maybe go a little bit too fast. It looks as though, based off of those times, we would have got Kimi Räikkönen. Would we have got Ocon? What did we do? Okay, would have been close, wouldn't it? We might have got 13th, but we're not that far back to where I think we would have started anyway. And there might be some penalties ahead of us.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Vettel, Stroll, Tsunoda, Oldtimer, and Mick Schumacher, Russell, Gasly, Nikita Mazepin, and Fernando Alonso. They've taken a grid penalty. Ocon, Sainz, Kimi Räikkönen, and Antonio Giovinazzi. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi, Verstappen, Norris. They've taken a grid penalty. And Robert Schwartzman. That's it then. It's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, so race time means jumper off. It is time to get down to business, and we have been helped by those penalties, and we're up to P9. Now, I think what that means is that we just go with the strategy as it is, soft to mediums. We'll take a little bit of petrol out just because, and yeah, well, we'll get on with this, and hopefully, could we score more points? So here we go, the Australian Grand Prix, my home race. Looks a little bit overcast. And the lights they do go out, and we have got a very good start compared to the cars behind us. We try and split the Aston Martins, and, well, we are in front of Stroll, Vettel on our inside. There's somebody else there that's forced us onto the grass. I'm not sure, is that Gasly? Tsunoda, perhaps? Seems like something Tsunoda would do, wouldn't it? So we are doing very, very well. We come up to the end of the second straight there. We go in a little bit too deep. The AlphaTauri on the outside, and we just about cling to the inside there, get that position back. Very nice start indeed. Yeah, I've got a nosebleed, mate. And yeah, P6 ahead of Vettel, ahead of Tsunoda, ahead of our rival Lance Stroll as well. Mick Schumacher, who was similarly got a nosebleed compared with us, I think, and how high up he is. But yeah, well, we're in some position where we can fight now. You can see we've already lost or losing touch with the Ferrari in front of us of Charles Leclerc. We're not going to be moving any higher up. Vettel has a look to the outside. Now, this is the corner that really I do struggle at. I kind of was working up on the logic. I sort of figured this out in free practice. I just need to make sure I sort of accept that I'm going to lose a lot of time through there, and just make sure that when I exit, there's a little bit of a cluster going on behind us there. Just make sure that when I exit it, I'm exiting it sort of so I can get back to the inside of the track to protect the sort of the inside of the next corner, I suppose. So that's kind of just what we need to do. But we go jump back on board here. We can see Vettel right behind us. No DRS yet, of course, at the end of the first lap. And, well, we can see he's putting us under big pressure. And the Ferrari in front is gone. 2 seconds in the first lap. Vettel again on the outside having a look. We can defend the inside. That's not a problem. One thing I think I am getting very good at this season is learning how to drive defensively, because we've had a lot of practice at that, haven't we? But there is a little bit of a train developing behind us, though, crucially, not too much.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Jeff, you're killing me, mate. You're absolutely killing me here. So again, the worn engines. I mean, we're not taking penalties on the grid, but we certainly are getting hurt in the races with things failing on us. Again, you can see there, Vettel. I actually was a little bit too wide there. If he played that better, he could have got up the inside of us, but he didn't, and he ended up costing himself time there. So he has Stroll all over his back. But yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a gap to Mick Schumacher behind us. You can see there, we're holding up the Aston Martins and the AlphaTauris. But there is a gap after that, so that's obviously a good thing. We're looking reasonable at this point. There's obviously a lot of fast cars.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I get the feeling we're going to be defending from DRS, to be honest. But you can see behind us, there's Sainz, there's Norris, Verstappen as well. So there's a lot of fast cars behind us. So to say we're going to score points is maybe a bit of a stretch, but we're certainly, as long as Mick Schumacher can be the plug in there for us, we're certainly looking decent for at least a point here. We've just stabilised that gap a little bit to Leclerc as well. 2.8 seconds it is now, so he's not going away at least at 2 seconds a lap. But we've got bigger problems, of course, as we come into approaching the first DRS zone. We're going to have to defend now. That is, of course, at the end, as we jump back on board here. It is after the corner that we're very slow at. And I can't figure out why we're slow through here, or why we're so slow through here. You can see, just got to make sure that I can get to the inside. That's exactly where Vettel's heading. But if we can defend that inside line, you can see we're on the battery as well, just trying to give ourselves a little bit of extra power. We get the inside to that corner, and then, well, there's no way through, really. You'd have to be so much quicker than us off of that sort of fast chicane that I know we've got a little bit wide there, and that's going to give Vettel a chance down the main straight. And this is, of course, there's a DRS line there. But we were so bad that we might have actually put Vettel under pressure from Stroll, which could save us. But of course, it's a double DRS zone in Melbourne, so we'll come out of this corner and they'll have they can kind of just see there on the outside, the inside of the track, depending on what you call inside and outside. Both the Aston Martins have their wing open, but neither of them are able to get to us, and we've gone wide again, and, well, there's no way round there, as Tsunoda will tell you from the first lap. But there is now officially a train, isn't there? And Mick Schumacher looks as though he is... I haven't called him Ralph Schumacher yet this episode, have I? He looks like he is closing in a little bit as well. And that gap to Leclerc, what was I saying about it only being 2 seconds? We lost 2 seconds on that last lap. And again, we find ourselves under big pressure from Vettel coming up to the weak part of the track. Yeah, like I was saying before, I can't really figure out why we are so weak. I think it's either something on the setup, and Vettel tries to go around the outside. Again, a little bit of impatience from him, and it's cost him a chance. We're safe for this lap. And look at behind him, he's got Stroll and also Tsunoda. They go 3 wide into the corner, and was there a little bit of damage off one of the cars there, perhaps? But either way, we're safe, and that's the main thing. Look at Stroll. It looks like there is a bit of a gap developing behind Vettel. I wonder if Stroll picked up a bit of front wing damage there. And he may have ducked into the pits because Tsunoda has got in front of him and he can't really overtake.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
So potentially a new strategy option. You may have heard Jeff say there. Having a look at it here. Now, what I found very difficult is to try and read what that says and also keep my eye on the track. So, yeah, we're losing a little bit of time here, a little bit wide as well. And of course, the clock ticking down puts you under no time pressure, which is nice. You can see Vettel having another look at us there. He's all over the back of us. I'm really struggling to read what that says. And,
copy that.
Well, I've taken my eye off the ball for a second. Vettel's gone down the inside of us. We lunge in, late on the brakes, pin him to the inside, and we get away with that. Another look at this. trying to read what the hell Jeff was trying to ask me. Let Vettel down the inside. Just fell asleep for a split second, didn't I? But we were luckily able to get down the outside, late on the brakes, pinning to the inside curb, so he gets a poor exit, and that is us done there. So we skip ahead now to lap 8. It's sort of been much of the same.
Look at me, Jeff, I'm P2.
Just defending from Vettel, but pit stops are taking place. We are indeed in second position. But you can see, other than Vettel and Tsunoda, most of the other cars behind us or in front of us as well have come into pit. Now we've got another bad exit there, but again, as long as I can get to that inside, we should be okay. Vettel, though, a lot of overspeed, but again, I can just be late on the brakes, and we've got the inside line, and there's no way round for him there. You can kind of see what the drivers are talking about when they say Melbourne is very, very difficult to overtake on, because I suspect we are very much the slower car here, and Vettel pulls into the pits. So looking for the undercut on us, and this could be trouble.
Box this lap.
Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Obviously, we want to respond as quickly as possible. Now, you'll notice I am on the battery.
Box this lap, push hard on the in-lap.
I am on the battery as much as I can, and that will pretty much be the theme of this lap. Just anytime there's a little bit deep in there with that extra power coming from the battery, I think. But any time that there's a section of track where we're not braking, so this bit, I am on the battery, trying to maximize, get as much time out of this lap, or as little, as much time. I guess that's just the phrase, isn't it? Just doing everything we can to avoid the undercut, from Sebastian Vettel. Now he has come out behind Gasly. Now, is that going to work in our favor? Also behind Tsunoda. So Vettel's had a problem in his pit stop, it looks like. Of course, he's been jumped by both the AlphaTauris, but Tsunoda was behind him coming into the pits. So something must have not quite gone to plan on the Vettel stop. I wonder if he had a little bit of damage. We didn't really make contact, but maybe over a curb or something along those lines, he could have got a little bit of damage. But a fairly clean lap after that little bit of an overshoot at turn 3. And let's see. We do come into the pits, and let's see what we can do here. We have spent a lap in first position there as well, I just noticed, which is nice.
Well, we've led a lap. Almost. We didn't actually cross the start-finish line, did we? But this is going better than expected. We've come in, we've used all the battery power we could trying to come in on the... not lose time, not lose places. Are we going to get out ahead of... who are we? Vettel.
Stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Are we going to do it? I'm not sure, to be honest.
So Lando Norris is coming down our outside. Oh, and almost cleans us up. But we just managed to stay in front of Lando. Now, where has Lando Norris come from? He's come out of the blue, hasn't he? Has he made his pit stop, I wonder? Is he on a one-stop?
Driver behind.
Norris behind, less than a second separating. They're on fresh mediums. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:23.7.
So 3-lap-old tyres, that means he has made his stop. And we can assume that this is for position and he's going to the end. I've gone a little bit wide. I've led him up the inside, but again, a little bit like the Sebastian Vettel move, we're able to sort of pin him to the inside curb and get the better exit. And that gives us a little bit of a breather coming into our bad corner as well. But he's almost just caught that straight back up, hasn't he? And he will do through here. Again, just got to get to the inside. Oh, we've let him a little bit too late getting across. And he's come back up the inside of us. Can we get him back? Late on the brakes. And we do go back up the inside of Lando Norris. Oh, it's only just managed to get that, haven't we? And we've also put him in a little bit of trouble to Fernando Alonso, who's behind. And is Fernando Alonso going to get past him now? Again, we've got ourselves... No, he stays ahead. Look at the train, though. So we can see both the AlphaTauris and Vettel are there. So somehow, on that battery push lap, we've managed to stay in front and avoid the undercut. So that is excellent. Really, really pleased with that. Now, one thing, of course, I've done in the past is overdrive the medium tyre and basically cost myself time because we don't have the grip we have on the soft. So a couple of corners, I'm just trying to go back an extra gear. So you'll notice into turn 1, I'm trying to take it now in 4th instead of 5th because it's kind of marginal in 5th on the soft tyre anyway. So just little things like that. I guess I don't know if I'm learning the game as I go or if I'm just driving slower, but we can see Norris is all over the back of us, and there is that train all the way back to Sebastian Vettel, and you suspect that Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon, who are now in front of Mick Schumacher as well, might be joining this train sooner rather than later. We jump back on board again.
The car in front is 11.4 seconds.
Yeah, we're not really worried about the car in front, Jeff. Oh, and I've gone wide, and we've let Norris up the inside. Alonso is going to have a look at us now as well. There's no way through there, but there's no way back against Lando, and that is P7 for us, P6 gone. And again, it's that one corner, isn't it? Everywhere else in this lap, I feel like we're as quick or quicker than the cars around us, and it's Norris is coming in. 4 5-lap-old medium tyres, and Lando Norris has made a pit stop. We go back to P6. I'm not... Is he got damage? I'm not sure what's happened to Lando there. We've got Alonso behind us now. And of course, the ICE, let's not forget, is on its last legs. So we are a little bit slower down the straights, but it's Melbourne. The straights aren't really long enough for it to make too much of a difference. You can see behind us, the 2 Aston Martins are battling again. Also, 2 Alpha Tauris and the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel. And they've got Sainz at the back of there, and their battling has let ourselves and Alonso go. Alonso having a look to the outside, but again, we've got the racing line. We can show him towards the gravel trap.
Turbocharger is on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
So the turbo's on its way out as well. We are struggling to the end of this season, aren't we? It does beg the question, are we better off just taking penalties? But for the last race, I don't think we are. We'll just continue to struggle on, but here we go again. I've just got to get to the inside. We did it okay that time. It showed Alonso the outside, and he had to back out of it. It's one of these where it feels like it's relatively comfortable that we can hold on to the position, but we saw one mistake and Lando Norris was past us. But we skip ahead again.
This is your final lap of the race.
On to the final lap of the race. We are still in P6, but we still have Alonso, Vettel, the Alpha Tauris are behind us, though Tsunoda had a bit of a problem, so he has dropped away a little bit. Actually, he may have dropped away a lot. He's back down to P13 now. But there is still a train of cars there. Alonso, Vettel, Gasly, and Sainz. So we cannot afford to make a mistake. If we were to run wide onto the grass, something along those lines, we are probably going to drop down to at least 10th. But of course, the positive side of that is that it's looking as though we are going to score at least a point. But we want 6. It would be our equal best result, of course. But we have the trouble corner coming up, and it's really the last chance we're going to have to be overtaken, because after that, as we've seen, there's not really anywhere to get past unless you make a mistake. So we jump back on board. Can I get back to the inside? Yes, we can. We're on the battery button, trying to make sure that we don't let anybody down the outside of us. Alonso's having a look. We've got the line. We're on the brakes. We've taken the apex. And that should be enough. Valtteri Bottas has won the race. Oh, that's a little bit wide. We didn't need to do that. Just make sure there's no lunges going to happen. There's not. Stop. Basically, park on the apex. Make sure we're going to have the inside line for the final corner. And that is a wonderful result.
Woohoo! That's an unexpected one. Go on, boys!
I did not think we were coming P6 before this race started. Well, certainly after qualifying, even after the race started. It was a wonderful getaway, and we held on. And Giovinazzi's driver of the day.
With that, another year of Formula One draws to a close, and the new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Doesn't anybody want to interview me? No, I don't care that Hamilton won the championship, and I don't care that Ricciardo's on the podium. I just came 6th in my home Grand Prix. Somebody pay attention to me. So there we go, that was unexpected. I wouldn't say it's the best I've driven, although it is our joint best result. I think we got 6th in Russia, didn't we? And I think, if you look at that, the best laps, our best lap was well down the list on best laps. A 24.9 is, we're looking down there. Schwartzman did a better, faster lap than we did. And to be fair to Schwartzman, 15th. That's not bad at all, is it? So we're looking down, 15th, 16th in terms of where our fastest lap would put us. Well, actually, Norris was even faster than that. I'm not sure what happened to Norris and Stroll. Must have had it coming together at some point. They both made 2 stops. But yeah, I don't really understand how Vettel didn't jump us. I'm sure I mentioned that in the commentary, but we went flat out. I used all the battery I had in the lap, trying to stop the undercut, and we did manage somehow. We did one really good lap, and it was just obviously at the right time, unless he had some sort of issue, which we're not aware of. But in terms of the standings, it is Hamilton who has won the World Championship now by a country mile, actually. So well done to him. We are there. We're back above Pierre Gasly into 12th. But again, that doesn't really matter too much. What matters is the constructors' standings. And we're not catching anybody. With one race to go, we would need a podium, essentially. And that's not going to happen. But we're comfortable in 8th. Alfa Romeo, Haas and Williams are not going to win the race and have another car in the points. Famous last words, of course. So let's have a look at the rivalry with Stroll. We've broken even. I tell you what, we're giving Stroll a run for his money, aren't we? We are still 4 down. For 5 down we are now. We're not going to beat him, but at least, we're giving it a good shake. But guys, that will do it for today. If you have enjoyed that, make sure you hit thumbs up. A nice one in my home race there, wasn't it? And of course, subscribe if you are new. We'll be back next time for the final race of the season at Abu Dhabi. A big apology, there wasn't an episode when there should have been on Tuesday as well. It was just having a family day, basically. And yeah, so I will see you next time for the final race of the season, and then it'll be an off-season where I don't really know what's going to happen, but we've got 4.55 million in the bank. That's a nice place to be, and I will see you next time, as I said, for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. See you later.